This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin tonight with new information. We are now learning that the person who reportedly had some sort of a crisis near the railroad tracks in downtown Fargo is said to be safe. That person will be transported to a nearby hospital for further medical assistance. Officers were called to Main Avenue and University Drive around 4 this afternoon. All Burlington Northern Santa Fe trains were stopped for a brief time. There's new information in the search for a man wanted in the death of his wife. Eric Reinbold is the primary suspect in the murder of Lisette Reinbold. As the search for the 44-year-old enters its 4th week, he now faces second-degree murder charges. Valley News Team Stacey Van Dyke joins us in the studio with details. Stacey?
Mike, court documents filed today are shining a little more light on just what happened and why. They say when first responders arrived at the Reinbold home on July 9th, 2 boys guided them to their mom, who was laying on the ground. The documents reveal she had flies on her and dirt on her face and a puncture wound on her neck and near her jaw. According to the documents, one of the children told them they saw their mother crying because Reinbold accused her of being unfaithful. Investigators say they searched through Reinbold's phone and found tension-filled text messages with Reinbold accusing Lisette of cheating, demanding sex from her, and fighting over finances. An autopsy revealed Lisette suffered multiple sharp force injuries to her neck, torso, and upper extremities. A medical examiner determined she died from a severe loss of blood and determined her death was a homicide. The manhunt is still underway for Reinbold. If found and convicted, he faces up to 40 years in prison. Mike?
Thanks, Stacey. Reinbold is described as standing 5 feet 7 inches tall and weighing about 175 pounds. If you have any information, call 218-681-6161 or 1-877-WANTED. A Fergus Falls man is in jail after he admitted to repeatedly slamming a child's head into a wall. The 11-year-old was found with a head injury at a home on South Mill Street last Thursday. Reggie Bethel first told police that the boy was cleaning up dog urine and slipped. The boy's mother later told police that Bethel repeatedly banged his head into the floor and wall and that Bethel does it regularly to discipline him. Bethel later admitted to lying and tried to get the boy's mother to do the same. The boy was airlifted to Sanford in Fargo with a traumatic brain injury. He had to undergo a risky surgery to relieve the bleeding and swelling in his head. No word on how he's doing today. New at 5, there wasn't much left of a structure by the time authorities arrived today. Polk County deputies saying it collapsed and was engulfed in flames. It's located at 38270 260th Avenue Southeast in rural McIntosh. The owner, 66-year-old Larry Oppegard, was not hurt. The fire appears to be accidental. Temps warmed up again today, and you can see that haze from those Canadian wildfires. Let's check in with Hutch to see how bad conditions are right now. Hutch?
Mike, thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. We're looking at the visible satellite here, and anywhere you see the milky white colors, such as those moving it to the northern shore of Lake Superior there, that is that thick, dense smoke that we had in the area for much of the weekend. Now, the darker shades here showing some reduced smoke levels here, but notice this, moving in from the north in our northern counties, a puff of that smoke from Canada heading our way. Our northern counties may indeed see that, but right now visibilities are in the acceptable category. You can still smell it in the air, but there is much improvement over the experience we had with air quality this weekend. Now, that's not to say there are still not areas of unhealthy conditions. Air quality alert continues until Tuesday. We'll have your air quality forecast in a minute. Here's what you need to know for this evening. Temperatures in the 80s, sneaking down into the 60s overnight tonight. Not as cool for many areas, and we may see an increase in clouds in Fargo and in Grand Forks. A better chance at a little bit of that smoke making its way into our northern communities tonight as temperatures lay back into the 60s as well. Hour by hour details, Mike, straight ahead on a chance of some rain in our forecast area. I'll have details on that in a minute.
Chance is better than nothing.
It is.
All right, thanks, Hutch. The U.S. topped 35 million COVID cases over the weekend, and as the mask debate escalates, the Biden administration is facing questions about whether tougher prevention methods will be needed to slow the Delta variant. Alice Barr has the very latest from Washington.
President Biden and his COVID advisors today weighing whether to issue new restrictions as a 4th wave of COVID spreads across the nation. More than 40 states seeing cases double, with the powerful Delta variant tearing through unvaccinated populations, filling up hospitals in places like Louisiana.
Nobody had to die this week? Nobody, right? It's a preventable disease, and we missed out on the biggest prevention opportunity that we've ever had.
But there is progress. The White House today saying 70% of all adults have now had at least one vaccine dose, nearly a month past the president's July 4th target. Vaccinations are rising the most in the areas hardest hit by the Delta variant.
This is the moment to step aside from all of the misinformation and, frankly, disinformation that's been put out there. Look at the data and then roll up your sleeve.
Federal health officials walking a delicate line, reinforcing how effective the vaccines are while encouraging masks again for everyone indoors. In Florida, now leading the nation in infections, the governor defying CDC guidance and banning mask mandates in schools as they prepare to open next week. That as millions of Americans who've survived the pandemic are now at risk of losing their homes after falling behind on rent. A federal eviction moratorium expiring over the weekend. One Democratic lawmaker, Missouri's Cori Bush, camping out on the Capitol steps to draw attention to the plight of Americans who could find themselves on the streets if Washington doesn't act.
Meanwhile, the White House is exploring what it can do legally to prevent evictions, but is urging states to distribute the billions of dollars already approved by Congress. Target will once again require masks for employees in counties where COVID transmission levels are considered high or substantial. That, according to the CDC, that also includes Cass County. Grand Forks and most counties in northwest Minnesota are considered moderate. Face coverings are strongly recommended for shoppers. This new guidance will go into effect tomorrow. Eventide is requiring all of its employees to get vaccinated for COVID-19 by October 1st. Meanwhile, new employees are also required to have the vaccine. The president rising, much in part due to the Delta variant. We believe that we must now act to protect our residents and staff. Various national organizations are urging all health care and long-term care employers to require employees to be vaccinated. Two organizations representing obstetricians recommend that pregnant women should be vaccinated against COVID-19. The CDC reports only 16% of pregnant women have received at least one dose of a vaccine. The association cite data that says that pregnant women have an increased risk of severe complications and death from COVID-19. The FDA is moving as fast as it can to give full approval to the Pfizer vaccine. Even though health officials could not give a specific timeline, one official says the FDA will not lower its scientific standards to greenlight the vaccine. Last week, other medical experts said that the approval could come within the next couple of months. All vaccines currently have only an emergency use approval. The country has reached a vaccination milestone today. 70% of adults in the United States have had at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. 468,000 doses have been administered, and 320,000 people are newly vaccinated. The 7-day average of newly vaccinated is the highest since July 4th, which is also when the Biden administration had previously wanted to meet the 70% threshold. Devastating news for Carson Wentz fans. The former Bison quarterback and the new member of the Indianapolis Colts will have to sit out the start of the NFL season. Wentz is expected to be out 5 to 7 weeks and must have surgery for a foot injury that he's had since high school. A new study from Sanford Health shows the educating football coaches and players about concussions does pay off. The study followed more than 100 youth football players over 7 years. It found that the number of head impacts fell dramatically by the end of the study, about 75%. The investigators say that the increased awareness and training on concussions is likely responsible for that decrease. Full study results are on our website. Go to it at valleynewslive.com. Happening right now, you can pick up backpacks that are filled with school supplies at Shields Arena. The United Way was able to reach its goal of collecting 6,000 backpacks for kids in need, thanks to the help of you and the community and a donation from Essentia Health. You can pick up a backpack until 6 today, but if you can't make it today, you'll have until Thursday to do so. You can find more details on pickup times on our website. Later on Valley News Live at 5, some exciting news surrounding Simone Biles and others competing for Team USA.
Still, for some, smoky conditions as seen here at the Dakota Magic Casino. July ended very dry, and for the month of July, Grand Forks over 3 inches below average, with the #1 driest July on record. And in Fargo, it was dry and both locations very hot. A chance of rain? Details straight ahead.